Bulavanaka, thanks for joining us for another Drua Talk, episode 6. I'm Greg Clark. It's a busy show as we review another loss on the road for the Swire Shipping Fijian Drua Men, and we'll preview their clash against the Force this Sunday in Perth. And congratulations to the Roosted Chicken Fijian Drua Women who won a nail-biter in La Toka. We'll have highlights a little later. Special guests this week are Drua Men's coach Glen Jackson, Kane Koteka from the Force, and Drua Women's scrum half Kolora Lomani swings by Clarkie's corner. Now, to get us underway, highlights from the Drua's clash with the Brumbies in Canberra. The Drua were hoping to end a run of 5 losses against Stephen Larkham's men.
Plenty of ball in play, good ball in play as well. Here we go. The Drua up against the Brumbies in Canberra.
Good! Use it!
Alatoa, a try scorer last week, lays this one back for Frost. Penalty advantage. Lolosio over the top, it catches a hand, tidied up by Leniki Tau. Head tap before being tidied up by Donge. Lolosio.
Ball's available.
Been missing the last 3 weeks for the Brumbies. Drawing himself to no right. Muirhead on the outside right. Holds it up for Andy Muirhead. And the Brumbies are rolling heavy in this first half. We are off and moving once more as Marcio sends a restart deep. Taken well eventually by the Drua. Murray under net. They took down the previously unbeaten Chiefs last week for their first win of the season up in La Toka. Now for Vode. Lomani.
Run off your feet.
Penalty advantage here for the Drua. Armstrong with Vula. Kicks it in behind. Tani Ferre with the pickup. And the Drua.
Ball's out. Use his hands.
Excellent work from Tom Wright. Beats one, beats another. Still going, Tom Wright. Now in field he heads. Tom Wright looking for support. He sends one wide right. Muirhead's there. Eki Tau on the outside for his third. Oh, that's special. That's top draw. That's magic from Wright and the Brumbies. And Lenny's got 3. The Drua, well formed. Frost swings round the corner. Is illegal. He pulls out under the instructions of Geordie Wade. Still there with the Drua. They surge once more. It's a try. And Canavera off the bench has 2. The Drua coming around the corner looking to disrupt. They can go close. Inches away. Frost is at the back.
I can't ship for them.
Frost short. They keep working. Short side again. Second effort. Centimetres shy of the line. That looked good. Try Brumbies, the bonus point score.
Try's good.
Try's good, and it's Meredith looking to ice it here. Meredith. Oh, that's a bad miss. But never mind. The Brumbies go through as big winners in the end in a highly entertaining game in Canberra. Full time at GIO Stadium. The Brumbies take down the Drua.
It was looking good at times for the Drua, but the Brumbies capitalised on mistakes and kept the scoreboard ticking over to win by 17. Week 5 saw the Hurricanes beat the Highlanders by 2 in Dunedin. Brumbies 38-21 over the Drua in Canberra. The Crusaders are looking good after their 55-33 win over the Force in Christchurch. That's 98 points in 2 weeks against Aussie opposition for the Crusaders. The Chiefs held on to beat the Blues 32-31 in Hamilton, and the Reds outplayed the Waratahs 35-15 in Brisbane. Moana had the bye. It's still the Chiefs on top with 18 points. The Crusaders, Reds and Brumbies are on 14, Waratahs 13, and the Highlanders round out the top 6 on 10. And it's the Hurricanes, Force, Blues, Drua and Moana. Just 4 points separating 11th from the all-important 6th spot. You're watching Drua Talk with Clarkie, and after 5 straight losses to the Brumbies, Drua were optimistic about breaking the run of losses when they travelled to Canberra last week. It wasn't to be, and to talk about that and look ahead to Sunday's clash against the Force, we're being joined by head coach Glen Jackson. Well, Jacko, it was another frustrating night on the road. It was looking good at times, but lapses of concentration and penalties proved costly again, didn't they?
Yeah, no, it did, mate. I thought it's the best we've started for a long time. I think the Brumbies overall, you've got to tip your cap when it's right. I thought it's the best they've played all year. They were up for the game. So they did well after coming back from the Blues performance to put in that performance. We analysed it afterwards and said that we let them in, as you said, for probably 18 minutes of the game just before half time, and mostly around our discipline and not being able to put a couple of points on the board. So it was a disappointing way to go into half time. I think the boys came back after half time and showed some real grit and determination around where we're at as a club. And at the end of the day, probably missed out on a penalty try, a yellow card, which would have been a massive difference for us. And then, unfortunately, they scored right at the end. But it was good. I was just proud of the boys in their comeback in the second half.
Glenn, this tournament is tough. It's hard to win away from home. You've been there since day one. Do you try something different each trip, or is it just a matter of hanging in there till it all comes together?
Yeah, I can only sort of talk about, obviously you're right, I've been here since day one, but it's we've just taken over this year with new coaches, and we certainly know we've got to do things better than what's previous, just because of the results that have shown. I think, if you look at a Hurricanes performance, the Waratahs performance, now the Brumbies performance, at the top of the table teams that we've been there or thereabouts and just missed out. So I know what we've done in terms of our preparation, and what we've tried to do in terms of a team has been a lot different than previously. I think we've come to Perth straight from Canberra, so we've got an 8-day turnaround, which is the first time that we've been able to actually just rest up a little bit. So we're at good facilities here, and we're trying to keep it as much as we do at home. We've been to the gym first thing in the mornings and getting the boys out of bed and making sure that they're here for a reason. And I think there's been good morale with our boys at the moment. I think our senior leadership group understand the importance of this, and there's been some good talanoa around what we need to do to perform in this game.
Well, you get another chance to win on the road this Sunday in Perth, another venue where the Drua hasn't tasted success yet. How are you feeling about this one?
Like any game, I think we can only hope that our performance prepares us for a great game. And all I can say is the first 5 or 4 days since we've been here, the preparation's been absolutely perfect. So there is obviously, it's hard to know with the boys sometimes around, the understanding that we haven't won on the road, but you don't see it. And I think our captains especially have done a great job in preparing us not only for the win, but also to understand that this hasn't been a great place for us. And I think if we look back in the last couple of years, it can be put down a fair bit to just what we've done previously, preparing for it as a playing group. So we're looking forward to a Sunday afternoon, sort of 2 o'clock kickoff, which suits us. It's supposed to be 30 odd degrees, so it's all pointing to a good way of going into a bye.
Mate, what was the thinking behind this week's selections? Celestino had to return home after a head knock. Kiai Murray is suspended for 3 weeks. So some changes were inevitable.
Yeah, and again, we've stuck to what we have done all year. I want every player to be understanding that they can play for this team. So we've made quite a few changes, especially at 9 and 10. I think it's important that we look after Frank and where he's going for the rest of the year. So I think Simi's come on and done an amazing job. So we're looking forward to him starting. He's a World Cup winning player against Australia, so we like what he offers. I think, again, with Caleb coming in, he's going to be, he's a class player, so we're looking forward to him. And then we wanted to just freshen up some other players. So it's important that, for me, I reckon, for our team, making changes is good. Keeps everyone on edge, keeps everyone understanding why we're doing it, to keep everyone fresh for this year, and understand how important and hard our run is, but it's at home, and we need to have a good result in Perth to then have a bye and then get back home and put in some good performances.
The Force will be desperate to bounce back after 2 losses in New Zealand. The Drua have beaten them in Fiji, but they'll be tougher at home this week, won't they?
Yeah, look, they're a good team. They're a scrappy team that fight for everything. I know the last 2 results they've had a bit of a hammering, but they'll go super hard at the breakdown, which is one area I think we need to make sure we look after, and it's an area that we've highlighted massively this week because, look, both teams love to throw the ball around. There'll be plenty of space and hopefully plenty of opportunities for us to score tries, but if we don't look after the breakdown, they've got some really good ball snafflers that we need to eliminate out of the game, and to do that we need to be bring some aggression around our breakdown, which again I think if you look at the last two games, especially the Brumbies, they create the most turnovers in the game, and I think they only got one turnover against us. So it's an area of the game that we've highlighted, and we did well last week, and we just need to learn from those little mistakes. Like I said, I thought the Brumbies were outstanding last week, and we had a good chance really to just about beat them, but just about is not good enough in this competition, and I'm pretty sick and tired of talking to you, Clarkie, about just about, so it's looking forward to hopefully talking about a win.
Now, Jacko, you have a bye next week, so I guess this week is even more important as you try to stay in touch with the top 6.
Yeah, look, it certainly is. It's a competition that I think even last week I said, well, there's no point really looking too hard at the table because everyone's sort of having a dab at everyone. So this week, again, there's some massive games in the competition that affect the tables. We can only look after what we're doing, and as you see, going into bye, I just think it'd be great not only for our boys but also for the great support that we've been having from home, just to get a win for not only, like I said, for us but also for the people back in Fiji.
Okay, all the best in the West, Jacko. Let's hope this is the week it all comes together on the road. Banaka.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, Clarkie.
Don't miss the Western Force versus the Fijian Drua in a big doubleheader from Perth. The men kick off at 6 p.m. Sunday Fiji time. The women's match is from 8:50 p.m. Fiji time. And joining us from the Force men's team is back rower Kane Koteka. Kane, thanks for joining us. Great to see you make your long-awaited return from injury last week. It was a tough tour to New Zealand and things didn't go to plan. What learnings did you take out of the trip?
Yeah, I think we played good for a good portion of that game. It was probably about 20 minutes that actually let us down, and I think just defensively we're probably a bit too tight around the ruck and allowed a lot of space on the edges for someone like the Crusaders who have a dynamic back three, and they really punished us there. So a lot of learnings to take away from that game.
It's a tight competition. Most teams can win on their day, especially at home. And the Force is only 1 point out of the top 6, so no need to panic just yet.
No, definitely not. Obviously, a few close losses, but yeah, I mean, like you said, the competition's so tight, and any team can beat any team on their day. So, there's still plenty of rugby to play, and we're looking forward to get stuck in at home next week.
What does it mean to the guys to be playing back in Perth in front of the sea of blue?
Yeah, it's always special, and you always have that extra man with the sea of blue behind us. So the boys are really looking forward to getting back home and hopefully getting a win over the Drua.
Okay, you've got a perfect record against the Drua in Perth, so are you going into Sunday's clash with a lot of confidence?
Yeah, obviously always a lot of confidence coming into game, especially home games. We usually do perform well there, so yeah, we're obviously very confident coming into this game and hoping to do a job on them.
As far as preparation goes, what are the work-ons this week? Are you prepared differently for the Drua compared to the Kiwi sides?
Yeah, I think the Drua definitely play their own style of rugby, so we do need to try and combat that. We know that they are a very physical team and they love to offload the ball in open space. So yeah, we've got plans around that to manage that throughout the game.
Okay, thanks again for your time, and we look forward to another entertaining clash against the Drua on Sunday. Cheers.
Awesome, thank you very much.
The Force are very happy to be back at home. the Drua will need to be on their game from the outset. Now let's check out the leaders in the Super Rugby Pacific Player of the Year after Week 5. We have a new leader, with the Brumbies' Tom Hooper jumping to 13 points after a solid game against the Drua. Moana's Adi Savia and the Highlanders' Caleb Tangatau are on 12, and there are 5 players on 11 points, including the Drua's Boate Garawalevu. Well, now we can check the draw for Week 6. Another great round of Shop and Save Super Rugby Pacific on the way. Friday, Moana hosts the Chiefs in Pukekohe. This was to be played in Nuku'alofa, Tonga, but unfortunately it had to be moved to New Zealand. Saturday, the Highlanders play the Reds in Dunedin. The Blues are at home against the Crusaders. The Waratahs look to bounce back when they played the Brumbies in Sydney. The Force played the Drua in Perth from 6 p.m. Fiji time, and the Hurricanes have the bye. The Rooster Chicken Fijian women were desperate to bounce back to winning form in their final home game of the short regular season, and they did, just. After 18 errors, 17 penalties conceded, 27 missed tackles, along with just 39% territory, they hung in there and got the job done against the Brumbies. Let's have a look at some highlights.
And it's going to be the Brumbies women kicking off to the Drua, who are desperate for a good start. Real pressure on the Fijian Drua women's defensive line now. Now they might try and spin it a little wider. Paoni got it out to Dawa! And she is over.
Great work from Dawa. She's finished off a few tries this year, but it was building nicely for the Brumbies.
They're leading by 5 points to nil. Advantages being played, and it hits the referee, and here's, well, it's a gift, 3 points if they want it.
Leave.
No, they take it quickly.
Chat about the general number of penalties. She hasn't made an active effort to get back 10, so it's a yellow card.
Yellow card.
There's a mark here.
So the ACT Brumbies. And then Dawa finishing out wide. It's been a good first half for players in the Brumbies as we see the second half underway. Just a couple of metres out. And Nangasao.
Ball's available.
Slow coming out of there. Nangasao. Desperate defence from the Brumbies. And it's on the line, and it's over at long last. They finally get it down. And Dawa did well to hold on to that one. She had plenty of defenders around her. Fua goes to ground. And now there's the captain. Oh, and she just manages to hold on over the line. Sia Kapesi Palu. Free kick taken quickly. Lomani, Benita, chipping over the top. They need the bounce, and they get it as well. It is the Fijian Drua running away and scoring the try as Vitalina Nakure. Chase of what she did in the first up win over the Waratahs. On that occasion, she scored in the first 10 seconds of the match, and now she's had to wait for the 63rd minute. Natala Molaka, Wallaroo, she made a debut as an 18-year-old, 2023, and this one will come around nicely. The flags go up in La Toka, and the Brumbies are up again, 15 points to 14. Held up, they're short. So they'll get another crack at it, or do they go wide? They're happy to rumble.
Ball's available.
The ball is available. Half a metre out. And they're over!
On the bell!
So Luisa Tosolo, who probably could have won it off the kicking tee if they had have gone for it. But no, they back themselves, so they come up with the 5-pointer. And Tosolo raises the flags. Well, disappointment for the Brumbies women. You can see them in the huddle in the in-goal. They dominated territory. They dominated possession. In the end, here's Shane Hussain.
captain for the day, Bitila Tawake. What an arm wrestle. This must feel special.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the fans that came out today and supported us. It means a lot to us that you're here, and it just means a lot to us that you support women's rugby as well. And just thank you for coming out in numbers today and supporting us. It means so much. And especially to the Brumbies team, they travelled far to come here today and play here. It's good to get the win today. It was really, those last few minutes was just nerve-wracking. But just credit back to the girls for all their hard work this week.
It was really tough. You must have taken some lessons. What are the walk-ons for the rest of the week for you?
Just from the game today, just keeping the ball alive and all those mistakes of drop balls and stuff. But it's really great the girls bounced back in the second half and we got the win today.
There are no easy matches in the Smart Tech Super Rugby Women's. Next week you are away in Perth. How tough of a challenge will that be?
We know the Western Force always give a good fight in their home ground, and we're coming with that Fijian power there, so we're not going to go down with the fight as well.
B, thank you very much. Go enjoy with the girls.
The Drua stealing it from the Brumbies with a converted try on full time, winning 21-15. It wasn't perfect, but if the Drua can eliminate some errors and have better discipline should they reach the semis, they will be dangerous. And in the other game, the Waratahs beat the Reds 36 points to 14. This week, it's the Brumbies versus the Reds in Canberra on Saturday, and on Sunday in the late game of the doubleheader in Perth, the Force Women host the Drua at 8:50 p.m. Fiji time. Okay, time now to check in with the Drua Women's squad. It's time for Clarkie's Corner.
On Drua Talk, it's time to see who's in Clarkie's Corner. On Clarkie's Corner, it's great to have Kolora Lomani with us. Bulavanaka, nice to meet you. I've been looking forward to this chat because what an incredible journey you've been on. Born in Fiji, you grew up in New Zealand, you played for the Brumbies in Australia, now you're with the Drua. How did all that come about?
Yes, I kind of obviously grew up in New Zealand. I guess had to kind of choose between netball and rugby. I kind of leaned more into rugby, I think, just because of I love the physicality in the sport, and you know, you get to travel more into rugby. You have other opportunities to be able to play sevens and league. So I guess, and you know, meeting new people is always something that I loved in coming into rugby.
Who influenced you on the rugby journey?
I didn't really have like someone that I kind of looked up to. I think it's because I didn't really play sport, you know, coming from Fiji into New Zealand. But I think it's just my parents that kind of pushed me to play the game a bit more and having that support from them. Especially knowing that, you know, back in the days in Fiji, rugby wasn't, you know, big in Fiji. But you know, going overseas and having that support from my family was, you know, something that kind of pushed me towards to keep going.
Scrum half, have you always been in that position?
No, so I actually started off as a winger playing rugby. I guess it kind of started changing when you know, the coaches had seen my ability of where I could run in as well in the scrum half. So I think switching into scrum half is more of a reliable position where you control the game and where the forwards and the backline run. So I mean, it's something that I didn't really, you know, it wasn't a choice of mine to play halfback, but I think playing there now is, yeah, shows more of my ability to be able to get into space and, you know, control the game a bit more.
What was it like having a year with the Brumbies? Did you like the Aussies?
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. I guess, you know, it was really nice to be able to get a chance to be able to go play overseas with the Brumbies team last year. I think it was a big difference compared to being here with the Drua for the past in 2022, 2023. I guess it was just more of the culture difference and more of, I would say, more professional. But you know, coming back to Drua this year and seeing the difference and seeing the change within the club, which is really nice to see, being more the girls getting more treatments as the boys, which is nice. But yeah, I think it was very challenging going over to the Brumbies. But yeah, it was a good year for me.
What about the future? What are your ambitions?
I think for this year, I think my goal, obviously 2025, it's World Cup year. So I think it'll be a good year for me to try and just, take one step at a time and hopefully be able to get selected to play for the World Cup and get that World Cup second time.
You must be delighted to see how women's rugby is growing in Fiji, and the Fijian Drua are doing a great job.
Yeah, definitely. I think, when Drua had started in 2022, I think we didn't have that much support behind us. And to be able to see that now, it's really amazing. And, just to create that pathway for the girls coming in now, there's a lot of new girls in this year and young ones as well. So I think it's just, as we move forward, I think it's really nice to have that support system behind our back and have the sponsors to be able to, come in and support us girls as we move forward. So it's very nice to have that support system and that sponsors to be able to, get the girls in and have the young ones coming in as well to see where they can be in the few years' time.
Well said. Kolora Lomani, thank you for everything you're doing for women's rugby, for the Drua, and all the very best with your future ambitions and your goals.
Thank you. Nakvalem.
Great to chat with Kolora. And that's it for another episode of Drua Talk. Good luck to the Drua men who take on the Western Force in Perth on Sunday from 6 p.m. Fiji time, and the Drua Women who play the Force in Perth from 8:50 p.m. Fiji time. And we'll leave you with a look at both Drua squads. Bye for now. Mabe.